Hey, Algebra 1 again. So happy to be here with you. We're talking about trigonometric ratios, just like I mentioned in the last video. So this is what we're working on right now. And this video is trigonometric ratios, or I'm going to call them trig ratios. Too many syllables for me to keep saying over and over again. So let's just start it off. You guys know this, that God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. We are thankful that we have this opportunity to come to you as teachers through this screen and show you more and more about what God has created in this universe and just the story of God's creation, just so much more. So again, we're talking about ratios today, which is really just a fancy way of saying trigonometric fractions. Okay, we're defining the functions, the trig functions, as ratios. So we're going to learn to find these ratios. Okay, so I'm going to put some numbers to the same triangles that we were working with in our last lesson, and hopefully this helps you understand what I mean by trig ratios and the relationships there. So we would say the sine of theta, in this instance, remember theta's up here for this one, it's in purple. Okay, sine of theta, it's the opposite over the hypotenuse, or line CB over line AB. Okay, so this ratio is defined by the opposite, which is 4, opposite side is 4, and the hypotenuse, which is directly across from the 90-degree angle, which is number 5 right here. Okay, so it is 4 over 5. 4 over 5. It's a ratio where the fraction 4 over 5. Then cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent side is AC. Hypotenuse is still AB. It doesn't move. So adjacent is 3. Hypotenuse is 5. So it's 3 over 5. That's our ratio for cosine of theta. So if I were to ask you to find the cosine of theta, or the ratio for the cosine of theta, you would be able to tell me, okay, it's the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so that means it's 3 over 5. Okay? Same with tangent. Tangent of theta, same idea, is opposite over adjacent. So opposite of theta is 4. Adjacent to theta is 3. So it's 4 over 3. That's the ratio for the tangent of theta. Okay, so just kind of the same with this one. All right, it's just defined based on where theta is. So now it's down here at angle B. This is angle theta. All right, it's an unknown amount. It's an unknown degree. It's an unknown, it could be anything between 0 and 90, and that's the degrees that it could be. It's theta. So theta, sine of theta, is opposite. So opposite of this theta is the side that's 3. Hypotenuse of this triangle, again, directly across from this 90-degree angle, this right angle, is 5. So sine is 3 over 5. Cosine, okay? Cosine, this triangle, it's 4 is adjacent. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So CB is adjacent and it's 4. AB is hypotenuse and it's 5. So it's 4 over 5. Then tangent of theta is, again, it's opposite over adjacent. So opposite from this one is 3. Adjacent to this theta is 4. So it's 3 over 4. Okay, so listening to me all this time probably has you sleeping. Let me let you try to find these on your own. So just change some of the numbers here. It's okay. All I want you to do is find the ratio. So let's look at this. The sine. I'll kind of give you a start. Remember, we use soha, kaha, toa to remember sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or sakatoa, however you remember. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So if the sine of theta, this theta right here, is opposite over hypotenuse, could you pause the video and find that ratio? The opposite side over, so draw a line, and then underneath it is the hypotenuse. So the value for opposite over hypotenuse. Give me that ratio. Okay, hopefully you were able to find it. Let's see if you got it right. Okay, the sine of theta, the ratio, is 7.5 over 10. 7.5 is opposite. 10 is the hypotenuse directly across from this 90-degree angle. All right, what about the cosine? Cosine of theta. It's adjacent over hypotenuse, kaha, soha, kaha, toa. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Pause the video and see if you can find that. All right, what's the ratio? What's adjacent? Adjacent is 6, hypotenuse is still 10, so it's 6 over 10. You could reduce it to 3 over 5 if you reduce that fraction, which you can do with these ratios, okay? It's not wrong if you don't, but it's just simpler, more simple. All right, tangent. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. Tangent of theta, theta's right up here, so find me the opposite side and the adjacent side and put it in a ratio. All right, hopefully you paused and did that. All right, so it should be 7.5, that's opposite of theta down here, over 6, which is adjacent to theta. 10 is also kind of like adjacent, but it's the hypotenuse. Remember, hypotenuse directly across from this 90-degree angle. Okay, I'm going to change it around just so you can see it varies slightly depending on what angle we're talking about. So now we moved angle theta down here, and I want you to find the 3 trig ratios for sine, cosine, and tangent. See if you can do it without my giving you anything just yet. See if you can pause. Remember, soha, kaha, toa. All right, hopefully you did that. Hopefully you tried your best. Again, I'm trying to make these lessons more involved. I'm going to make some adjustments here soon, hopefully, so that you have to click on something and work with me in order to finish these. Okay, sine. You guys remember? Sine was opposite over hypotenuse. Well, opposite of theta and hypotenuse, that's 6 over 10, or 3/5. Cosine was adjacent, cosine of theta, adjacent over hypotenuse, or 7.5 over 10. Okay? Then we've got tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent, or 6 over 7.5. Okay, that is most of what you guys have got to do. I've got one more here for you that I don't want you to get scared. I changed the triangle to show you that as long as it's a right triangle, we can do this. Okay, and don't get worried with this 8 square root of 3. Just treat it like its whole value. That's what I want you to do. You don't have to put anything in your computer or find the square root of 3 or anything like that. I just want you to use that, and I wanted to show you it's not about fraction and this, and it's just about find the opposite, find the hypotenuse. Put them opposite over hypotenuse. That's sine. Find the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse, that's the cosine. Find the opposite, find the adjacent. Opposite over adjacent, that's tangent, the tangent ratio. Okay, so let's see if you can pause and find the sine, cosine, and tangent for this theta right here and this triangle. All right, hopefully you did that. Let's look here. Sine is 4.1, so opposite, over 8 square root of 3. 8 times the square root of 3. So it's that over that. Okay? So that over that. All right, and then Cosine. Cosine. It's adjacent over hypotenuse. Did you get it? 3 over 8 times the square root of 3. 3 over 8 times the square root of 3. And then tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Hopefully you got this one. So it's 4.1 over 3. That's our last problem. I hope that you guys did get it. You understood. I want you to understand. I don't want you to feel confused. Just know what's coming up here. I just want you to be able to identify what's the sine, what's the cosine, what's the tangent ratio. I'm not trying to get you to crunch numbers or do anything. I just want you to be able to identify that. If you can identify the sine, cosine, and tangent ratio of a triangle, we're going to do really great here. And that's what I'm hoping for through the discussion and through the quiz that is to come. All right? You guys keep doing great work. I love you so much. I miss you guys. If you need anything, reach out to me. You guys go and be blessed.